Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans.
Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan.
This is Jake.
This is Flair.
This is Mac.
And this is our preview episode for the Kyushu Basho. This will be coming out about 5 or 6 days before the Basho begins. And so I don't know where to go with this. I'm sorry. It's almost like I've never done this before.
Yeah. It's been months.
It's literally been months.
Well, what month is it?
People haven't heard from me in a couple of months because somebody messed up the recording when we initially did the Harumafuji episode. And then conveniently recorded it when I was away.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of people would do that.
Yeah.
Cleric. All right. But yeah, this is the Kyushu Basho preview. So we're going to just do a quick recap from our guy in the field, Brett, for the Aki Basho.
Hey guys, B again with a report from Aki Basho, which I believe translates to Fall Brawl. Man, if this wasn't quite the all-hands-on-deck make-good show after last pay-per-view. Anyone with an M before their name knew it stood for mid-card this month because it was all about the top guys, even bringing back part-timers like Kizuna Sato. Anyway, despite the injury, it looks like Tochinoshin's push is intact. I got worried they might go for the fight back from injury storyline for him again, like they did when they knocked him back down to developmental a few years ago. But it looks like while he might not be the ace, he'll be main eventing again soon. I can't say the same for Mitake Yumi, though. This dude reeks of buyer's remorse, barely allowed a winning record, had to job to all three of the Yokozuna clean, I might add. Maybe I'm wrong and they just want to stall his Ozeki story until November, but I'm getting serious Ziggler vibes from his booking. Not as bad as Ichinojo, mind you, who I think is one more lazy match from getting future endeavored, but that's another story. Obviously, though, the main event was the boss. I know some people are sick of the lol Hakuho wins gimmick, but having a year-long injury storyline, possible streak on the line, then having him clinch the cup with his 1000th win and a Zensho to boot, that's long-term booking that would make NJPW blush. It's obvious they aren't ready to let their top draw go yet, and I can't say I blame them. The man puts butts in seats, or on cushions. Unless they get thrown into the ring. You know what I mean. I'll see you guys in November.
And once again, Brett a little confused, but that's all right. He gave us the gist of what was going on. Just a quick heads up on this episode, we are going to put an emphasis on the vocab that we use in this episode for any newcomers that might be latching on to sumo for the first time for this basho. But we will head over to Fleric for a little breakdown of the city that is hosting this basho.
Yes, so this is the 6th on basho of the year, and we are going to the island of Kyushu, to the city of Fukuoka.
Now, Hanbasho, there are only 6 in total, correct? Because the Hanbashos are the main ones that happen every other month, and then between that are the Jungyo, correct?
Yes, you're right. There is like a little bit of a tour between, but the main kind of tournaments every year are in different cities. Usually it's rotating between Tokyo and one other city. So on this one, we go to the city once a year. It's on the island of Kyushu, what is the 3rd largest island of Japan. It literally translates to be 9 provinces. And
Provinces?
Provinces.
Yes.
I think you're right.
Okay.
I'm glad you read my notes and knew what I was trying to say.
9 providences.
Providences.
I like that better, though.
Yeah. That sounds awesome.
The city itself, Fukuoka, is on the island. It has roughly 1.5 million people living there. It has some hot, humid summers and relatively mild winters, kind of averaging around 50 degrees Fahrenheit in November.
It makes sense that this is where they would host the winter basho then.
Exactly, yeah. It's not terrible. It's not terribly cold in this time. It's actually probably really good sumo weather. A fun fact about this area is in the Pokemon games, the region of Hoenn is actually the inspiration from Kyushu.
Seriously?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
They took the island and kind of rotated 90 degrees.
They'll never know.
You've uncovered their secret.
I know. There was a Pokemon wiki that was all about it, so I think it's out
So
there.
that's what you've been doing.
Oh, yeah. I got really excited when I looked that stuff up.
There's a connection to Pokemon.
Uh-huh. The Petalburg city is the one that's based on Fukuoka, apparently.
Okay.
It's
one of the early cities. I believe it's a gym city.
You might be right. This is the one I missed, so I'm not entirely sure.
What kind of gym is it? Do we know?
I don't recall.
I have a history fun fact about the island of Kyushu. So apparently, Japan was once invaded by the Mongols, or at least attempted to a couple times. And 1274, Kublai Khan, he decided he wanted to kind of tell Japan to let them know how awesome the Khan is. So they sent about 900 ships and 33,000 troops to go help to Japan to kind of help them along to kind of let them know.
In traditional Mongol fashion.
Yes, indeed.
I am Khan.
But there was a storm, and they lost a bunch of ships, and the invasion kind of just settled. It just kind of went away.
Wait, so they never actually fought?
I don't remember the exact things. I think they did do a little bit of fighting, but they were in ships for a while, and then they lost almost 2/3 of their ships.
The vast majority of the fighting was done by weather. Yeah.
Yes.
The insane weather.
Which actually happened all the time in the ancient world.
Yeah. In the fighting there was, it was not great because the Mongols actually had some great military technology at the time. And Japan,
the horse.
So the weather did not recognize the greatness of the Khan.
No, they did not.
Okay.
They were kind of saved by that. And so much so the Mongols hey, they got lucky last time. Let's try to invade again. So they tried again in 1281.
No, they're not invading. They're just letting them know of the greatness
They
of the
just
Khan.
want to come and help out.
They keep on trying to say, hey, don't you know how great these people are? And then they're like, nah, I don't think you're all that great. And say, okay, let's try again.
Let's murder again.
Yeah. So this time they sent about 4,000 ships and about 140,000 troops to Japan. And Japan roughly had about 40,000 defenders. So it wasn't going to be that close of a battle when it happened. But once again, there was a storm, this time a typhoon.
Again?
Yeah. And it kind of just destroyed most of the fleet, most of the troops. Actually, most of the fleet was in ships at the time, and they just got destroyed and lost. And so they just kind of once again lucked out. So much so that they called the typhoon that came to be known as kamikaze, which is divine wind. And it was the inspiration for suicidal attacks later by the Empire of Japan during World War II. But some fun facts about people trying to invade the island of Kyushu, it hasn't gone too well.
And now sumo happens.
I'm sure we could make some tasteless jokes about there being Mongolian Yokozuna,
But we probably should.
but we should move on past
Yeah,
that.
I think so as well.
I would like to commend all four of us for not taking the easy route of doing the William Shatner Khan. So we'll just move on until anybody can. No! All right. With that out of the way, let's go over the Bansuke for Kyushu. Not a whole lot of changes in the Sanyaku ranks. We still have Hakuho, Kakuryu, and Kisei no Sato as your Yokozuna in that order. We still have Goedo, Takayasu, and Tochinoshin. None of them Kadoban. And in that same order that they were in Aki, we have Mitakayumi and Ichinojo as your Sekiwake in the same order that they were in Aki. And here's your only shakeup in the Sanyaku ranks. We have Takakeisho taking over for Tamawashi as Komosubi East, and Kaisei jumping up from Maegashira 1 to Komosubi West. And then where there is quite a bit of shakeup is the Zone of Death, or Maegashira ranks 1 through 3, the ranks that you would typically expect to face the Yokozuna.
Literally not one of these next 6 guys was in this section before.
Well,
I'm looking at the
Tamawashi.
Tamawashi was above this.
I'll get to
yeah, okay.
Tamawashi.
Wow, that's crazy.
So jumping up from Maegashira 5 to Maegashira 1, we have Miyogiryu. He had an 8-7 record. And then jumping all the way up from Maegashira 9 to Maegashira 1, we have my boy Hokuto Fuji. So he's
That's a huge jump.
That is a very large jump. I believe he was 9-6, and I mean these ranks got decimated, and none of the people really ahead of him did any better than he did. So it makes sense.
8 ranks of jump for just a 9-6 record seems pretty extreme.
It was pretty crazy, but that's just how it ended up.
Yeah, someone has to go up.
Yeah, and I believe I had that predicted. I had a lot of this correct. This part correct. It's below that I kind of messed up on my Bansuke. Tochiozan, I believe, jumping up from Maegashira 7 or 8 to Maegashira 2. And then
It's all up there. Yeah.
I'm not-
Sorry, you're facing the wrong way. We have it on our projector screen.
Yeah.
He was at 7, now he's at 2.
Yep. And then we
I'll
have
just sit back and correct you when you get him wrong.
that'll work.
There we go.
We've got Tamawashi, who had a 4-11 record at Komosubi East, only dropping to Maegashira 2 West, only dropping 6 spots with a 4-11 record. It baffles me honestly, because he had somebody like Ikioi. He was 3-12. That's one more loss, granted, but he dropped all the way down to Maegashira 8. I just don't.
So that's 7 drops compared to 2 drops for Tamawashi.
Yeah,
that's a
if
huge
we're going,
difference.
Yeah.
So who do you say kind of deserves to be on that spot more?
I would say Nishikigi, the guy who was at Maegashira 3, who had a 10-5 record before. I mean, he was all the way in like the teens, I think, or 12, 13. And so that would be quite a large jump. But 10-5 record, that's pretty good. 4-11 record, that's pretty bad. You deserve to fall quite a large way. The only thing I can guess is they didn't want like Nishikigi, Ryuden, who are both Maegashira 3, who were 12 and 13 last time, to have that huge of a jump, and they're giving Tamawashi the benefit of the doubt and kind of respect because he's been up there for quite a while, and so they're not dropping him all the way down to Bansuke. But I mean, we had some.
That's my guess too. I think Nishikigi and Ryuden, this is their highest rank. I
Yes,
believe, correct?
These are both their highest rank at Maegashira 3, and like I said, Nishikigi is up 9 spots. Ryuden's up 10 spots. Yoshikaze at Maegashira 4 West, he's up 11 spots. And so there's quite a few large jumpers. So at the same time, we've got a few guys dropping down quite a bit. Endo is down 9 spots. Yutakayama is down 8 spots. And then Ikioi, Chiyo no Kuni, and Onosho are all down 7 spots.
I would say those last 3 really surprised me. We've seen Ikioi do well in the past, same with Chiyo no Kuni, and we were all pulling for Onosho. So those last 3 were really a shot to
I would
us.
say Onosho would be the most shocking one. We've never seen him really have a losing record unless he was hurt.
I was super surprised by his result.
Yeah. So hopefully he can turn it around this time. And Takanoiwa, another guy that's kind of been in the news recently, he made it from Maegashira 13 up to Maegashira 6, I believe. So big jump for him.
That's good to see that he's recovered from any injuries and he's performing at basically at his peak level now. He's not at his highest rank ever, but I mean he's been all the way up to Maegashira 2 in the past, but he's kind of back to where he should have been, a year ago when his whole ordeal started.
Yeah. And we do have some newcomers to Makuuchi. Well, not newcomers. Nobody's making their Makuuchi debut, but people that are jumping up from Jungyo, we have Meisei, Arawashi, and
Dayamami.
Dayamami is the last one. So Dayamami, Meisei are at Maegashira 15. Arawashi is Maegashira 16. So with that means we had 3 that left.
And just barely clinging to the top division is Chiyomaru.
Yes, he is Maegashira 16 West, the lowest rank you can be in the Makuuchi division. I predicted him to leave, but he just managed to scrape by. Yago not quite able to make that jump up. He is the top-ranked guy in Juryo, though. But we do have Ishiura dropping down, Kodayuki dropping down, and who is the other one?
Kyoku Taisei is the other one. Who dropped down.
Taisei, yeah.
He only had 1 win.
He was injured early
Yeah.
in that one. I think he tried to come back, and it didn't really work out for him.
Yeah, his final record was 1-6-8. Yeah, he stepped out from day 5 to day 8, came back for a couple days to try it out, and said, "Nope, I'm done."
Yeah,
Yeah, hopefully he's sealed up. I haven't heard anything about that guy, so
yeah. Couple other,
I know he's a fan favorite because he had the documentary about him.
yeah. Couple other of our favorites, just kind of where they're at. We have Asanoyama at Maegashira 5, Abi at Maegashira 7, Yutakayama is at Maegashira 10, and Aoyama is at Maegashira 12.
Oh, that one hurt you to say.
I only said Aoyama.
But you listed him in our favorites.
Yes.
In your favorites.
If 3 out of 4 of us like him, I suppose you got to put him there, don't you?
Yeah, that's about the shape of it.
Who else can we vote in to be your favorites? Oh, wait, if we all hate Hokuto Fuji, you could be our one for disliked.
Oh, yeah,
Richie
that
as
would hurt
well.
Ryan even more.
It's never going to fly, though. I will never allow that to happen.
Oh, well.
But yeah, that is how the Bansuke shakes out. Quite a bit of shuffling at the top. So we're going to see if a lot of people who have never been there before, like Nishikigi and Ryuden, can keep up at that high rank. And let's see if Hokuto Fuji can stick around up there like he was earlier in the year.
So I will taking a look at the Sanyaku and the Joy. which the Joy is the kind of first two make sure ranks. I think 1, 2, 3, and 4, give or take usually.
The ones we call the zone of death a lot of times, just because that you have to face Yokozunas.
Exactly, yeah. Looking at this, like assuming that all the Yokozuna are going to participate, which might not be the case, but assuming that is the case, I don't see very many make sure actually doing well. I kind of see them all kind of losing records. And
Probably about
cycling.
the same that it was last time.
Exactly, cycling through again because the Sanyaku looks really strong, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The of those guys that are new to that area, new to that zone of death, you got guys like Miyogiryu and Tochiozan. Those guys are actually like veterans that have been around a long time and they've been up there before.
I think both have been Sekiwake.
Yeah, but they're both kind of definitely past their peak. They're guys that have been in the middling Megashira ranks for some time now.
Maybe if Hakuho's out, Tochiozan will actually get a good record this time.
Well, Hakuho's only one guy, but that would be definitely one
It doesn't
loss.
matter. The Yokozuna has weight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But if you look back, sorry to interrupt you there. If you look back to the last couple times they've fought, Hakuho seems to have a particularly mean streak against Tochiozan.
Now, I was going to say I kind of allude to this, but just looking at it, like we have Takayumi, who's on like Ozeki run. We have Ichinojo, which he kind of is like hot and cold, but when he's hot, he always usually gets more wins than losses. Takakeisho, he's been doing really well, very young, very hungry.
He was Komusubi last time and got 9-6, so was able to stick around there for the first time in his career.
Exactly. And then we got our boy Kaisei, who got an 8-7 last basho. I just, and like all the Ozeki are looking good, and Yokozuna, I just don't see them dropping very many matches. I really don't.
We say that now. We could be shocked, but I do agree with you. We'll note this is Kaisei's third basho as a Komusubi. He previously had one winning record and then a losing record. So this is his tied for his highest rank, I believe. I don't think he's ever been Sekewake. But we did mention
has a couple times.
Kaisei?
Maybe once, yeah. I think he unfortunately lost it after one basho, but he has been up to Sekewake.
Jake will look it up for it.
Yep, I'm almost there. Sekiwake in middle of 2016 for one basho.
There you go. One basho. And so we mentioned it a couple of times, but Hakuho's presence in this basho is kind of up in the air. He had a couple of surgeries, or one surgery where they did multiple things.
Yeah, I think he had like some knee pain. I think he hurt it during summertime or like sometime around then.
Hurt it at Nagoya, and then I think he just kind of fought through it during Aki, and then I think it just flared back up again between Aki and Kyushu.
That's my understanding too. Like he somehow hurt it, and then he decided to get some surgery after Aki because I guess the pain wasn't getting any better. And I think they took some X-rays to find like some bone fragments.
Yeah,
kind
bone
of
fragment was
hanging
loose
around.
in his knee.
Yeah, so they did some surgery where they went in, tried to remove some fragments, and they apparently went into his ankle as well. And they kind of just cleaned it up, is what they described it. So
Okay.
I think he's still kind of recovering it, but everything I've been kind of hearing is like he's not yet 100%. He's not training 100%, and he's just still having some pain.
Yeah, so I think pretty fair assumption that we're probably not going to be seeing Hakuho defend his Zensho Yusho. So really can't go on a winning streak because I figure these will all count as losses. So when he does come back, say in January, like if he wins his first match, that's not going to be a 16-match winning streak because he missed all of Kyushu, which is a shame. It would have been nice to see him build on that. But we do have another Yokozuna who seems to be fighting through the pain, and it's not the one you'd expect it to be, who has been fighting through the pain for the whole past 2 years. But Kakuryu, I mean, he's been participating in Jungyo, but it's looking like he's having some ankle issues himself. He's been participating in Jungyo, so I would assume that he starts. And, I mean, we've seen this story with him a couple of times this year, I feel like, where it seems like he's in pain and then comes in and wins the whole damn thing. But who knows what's going on with Kakuryu this time? What are you guys expecting from Kakuryu this basho?
I think he'll stick it out for a few days. I mean, depending on the pain level, but knowing him, he probably wouldn't want to aggravate it. So I'm thinking he'll stay in for maybe 3 or 4 days, hopefully rack up a couple Kimboshi for some of the lower rankers, and then properly leave.
So he's going to stick it out, lose some matches, and then he's just going to...
He's going to do the Kiseno
Peace
Sato
out.
and the old Haramafuji. It's okay, man.
That's
It's
true.
okay.
Like Kisei is like he's like looking good now, so like Kakuryu can kind of step back a little bit and like take a
A
little
lot
break.
less pressure on him.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it could be like March, where we heard all these rumors about how bad he was hurt, and then he came back and just got a 13-2 and won the whole thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can easily see Kakuryu sticking out the whole thing. I do think if Mac's correct, if he does give up a couple of early Kinboshi, probably more likely to see him out. But I mean, last Basho, he started off like 10-0, 11-0, and then he lost his
last five.
Last 4 or 5. I expect to see something similar to that, especially with all the Ozeki looking to be strong. And I mean, Kisei beat him last time, so Kisei should be around this time. So I expect we'll see that kind of performance from Kakuryu, pretty much the same as it was in Aki. Speaking of Kisei no Sato, everybody expecting a repeat performance from him this time. I don't know if you could say shocked the world when he got 10-5, but definitely surprised a lot of people who had Aki as his final retirement basho, pretty much, not thinking he could come back from that injury. What do you guys expect from Kisei this time?
Well, I think that I'm going to kind of take the coward's way out here and say I have no idea, but because it's 100% dependent on his health. And he seemed like, I don't know, last Basho, he seemed like he was probably at like 80%. Is that probably a fair place to say?
I think
so. How much effort he was able to put in, how strong he looked. So I haven't heard any like catastrophic news of like any other limbs falling off or anything since the last Basho. But yeah, I mean, if he's as healthy as last time, I think he's got an opportunity with Hakuho potentially not going to be there. That that's a good thing for other Yokozuna to have another path to victory. But yeah, I think it's extremely dependent on his health, and we probably won't have a really good idea about that until the first couple days.
Yeah, I just agree with that for the most part. Like I kind of believe. I think he's going to do pretty good, mostly because the last Basho and I just haven't heard anything too much bad about him. So I think he's going to get another double digit. Hopefully he's in the Yusha race the whole entire time. That's just kind of hoping, but I think he's going to stick it out, and I think he's going to do well.
Yeah, like you mentioned there, the less you hear about Kisei no Sato, hopefully the better.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think he did enough. I think looking back at Aki, it was a mental battle for him. Like, can I do this? Can I keep working through this? Can I get back to the level of a Yokozuna? And he did it. He wasn't setting the world on fire. It wasn't an amazing 11 wins, 12 wins, but it was enough. He did enough to prove to himself and to everybody else that he is still Yokozuna caliber. And I think with that mentality moving forward, we're going to see a better performance from him in Kyushu.
All right, let's put a number on it.
Are we betting again?
We're not betting. We're just
right number.
We're just predicting. So let's put a number on it. Like, how many wins do you think he gets, Mac?
I see him getting 11. I see him getting one more.
10.
I'll go with Mac. I'll say 11.
I'll go with Fleric. I'll say 10.
I think he gets one more because
team.
one of those losses was Hakuho.
And that is why I said one more.
There you go.
All right, we got Team 10, Team 11.
Yeah, I think the Ozeki are looking stronger than they were last time health-wise, so I think that can give him a lot more pressure. And a guy that's in the zone of death that has beaten him before, Hokuto Fuji, is there looming over his shoulder.
We know your guy's okay.
Yeah, one of our most hated Rikshi.
If I keep talking about him, you guys are genuinely going to hate him pretty soon.
Oh, man. I just wanted to... I was taking a look at his record, Kisei no Sato's record last time, and Chiyotairyu was the only gold star that he gave up, which was a pretty bad loss because Chiyotairyu only ended up at 5-10. Mm-hmm. He lost to Tamawashi, who ended up at 4-11. Those were both like first week losses, so those were kind of rough. But then he did great in the second week. He went 1-1 against the Yokozuna and 1-1 against the Ozeki. And again, he doesn't have to face Takayasu, the third Ozeki, because they are in the same stable, so they can't face off.
Which is a shame because everything I hear from training is Kisei no Sato has Takayasu's number.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
All right, so speaking of those Ozeki, we've got Tochi Noshin, who sounds like he's fully recovered from that toe injury based on the reports from Jungyo. He's been fully participating, hasn't had any issues. Goedo is looking as strong as he always does in training, and Goedo coming off of back-to-back double-digit wins, so Goedo actually looking pretty good to close out the year. And Takayasu, who did pretty good in the last Basho as well, he should be healthy as far as I know. Who do you guys see doing the best out of the three Ozeki this time?
I got to actually say, like, I usually don't believe in him, and he always proves me wrong. So this time I'm going to believe him. It's going to have to be Takayasu. He just, when he looks strong, he looks like an Ozeki. And, like, even when he, like, has word, like, oh, I'm a little bit injured. I have, like, some indigestion. I'm not doing all that well. he still just brings it, and like he looks so dominating for the most part. So I think of the three, he's going to look the best.
His face when he wrestles definitely looks like he has indigestion. No, he's one of my favorites and has been for a while. I think I'm going to go with him as well. I'm really hoping that he's going to turn another corner like a year and a half ago when he went on that awesome run to get his Ozeki rank. I've always just been I'm totally picking with my heart, by the way, but I've always wanted him to turn another corner. Maybe this is an opportunity with him healthy that he can be again considered on a Yokozuna run. He was kind of like half-heartedly considered on a run when he had those 2 consecutive 12-3 June U shows a little while back.
Yeah, like maybe if he had gotten like a Zensho U show,
right,
he could have been
sure.
Yokozuna, but obviously that didn't happen.
Yeah. So starting off with an 11-4 when he had to face pretty much the hardest competition available. Let's see, he went 1-1 against the Yokozuna, and he went and 1-1 against the other 2 Ozeki as well. So kind of like Kisano Sato. We haven't heard any news of bad injuries, so hopefully that's a good sign.
Yeah, he did have one bad loss. He lost to Shodai last time, but other than that, all 2 Sanyaku rankers.
Yep, his other ones were Hakuho, Mitakayumi, and Tochinoshin.
See, for me, it's Tochinoshin. I want to see him asserting his dominance as an Ozeki now that he's over his toe injury, just saying, nope, I'm big, I'm bad, I'm an Ozeki, and I could be more. That's what I'm hoping. I just want to see a glimmer of hope that maybe he could be Yokozuna caliber. I'm hoping he's Yokozuna caliber, but I just want to see more Tochinoshin smackdowns.
Yeah, I'm fully with Mac on this one. When Tochinoshin has been healthy this year, besides Hakuho in the last Basho, he's been the best Rikishi out there. He was 14-1 in January, 10-5 in March, 12-3 in May to get his Ozeki promotion, and then he got injured pretty quickly after getting his Ozeki promotion, fought through that the past 2 Basho. I think a fully healthy Tochinoshin is the guy to look out for in this Basho overall.
Yeah, he's been having a great year. I think he's tied with Kakuryu with the most wins in this whole entire year.
And that's including sitting out 8 matches in July.
Exactly, yeah. So I think Tochi is the guy to look out for, but once again, that's also me talking with my heart a little bit there.
Yeah, I think this would be a big Basho, like as him as Ozeki, because he had defended his first Kadoban, which is kind of a test you have to do over and over again. Yeah. Everything sounds like he's healthy, and so if he comes out and like gets out a really good maybe Jin Yusho or Yusho, that would be amazing. Yeah. That is kind of saying like, hey, I am a great Rikishi, and I could be even going even higher than Ozeki.
And he's an Ozeki now, which kind of course, means we have to include him not as a long shot anymore. He's definitely one of the top guys to discuss as a potential winner.
And another guy who'd like to join the ranks of Ozeki is Mitakayumi. He won the Yusho back in Nagoya, had a disappointing Aki with a 9-6 record, but he could still, with a strong performance, get that Ozeki promotion for 3 straight solid performances. He could still get the 33 in 3 Bashos. What do we think? Is Mitakayumi our next Ozeki in January?
That would be 11 wins, and I say yes. I think he can do it.
If there's ever a chance he's going to do it, if everything holds true and Hakuho and Kakuryu are not going to be participating, this is it. This is when you gotta put it. You gotta go.
Yeah, I mean, even if they are, it's still not a a long shot that he gets it. He's a guy that has been constantly improving all the time. He's been Sekiwaki for the last year and a half, other than 1 Basho in May. He was a Komusubi. And granted, for most of that run, he's just at 8-7s and 9-6s. But I mean, he showed in July that if he is on, if he's on his game, and all the guys that are better than him are injured, he can really put something together. I mean.
He's like, he's got to do it now.
No, I know that's a massive asterisk on his win. that Yusho that he won, his final match was against Yutakayama. So
yeah,
I mean it's a big asterisk, but it's still he's still one of the top guys that I think is improving to the level where he should be considered a contender every time.
Yeah. I'm going to disagree with you saying that whether or not he can, mostly because he's improving, but I don't think he's there yet. Like you said, the one Yusho that he had was when everyone was injured, And so that I think in Aki's when everyone was back, and like he once again went back to his like 9-6, like 8-7 kind of consistency of sorts. So I think it's going, if all these Zeki are looking really strong, the majority of Yokozuna are going to be in. I that's what I'm thinking, and so I think he's going to get another 9-6. He's not going to make it.
I tend to agree with Fleric here. I mean, we all see Mitaka Yumi always comes out strong, very strong in the first week. He did so in the last Basho, started off 5-0 and then ultimately 6-1 before losing 5 in a row. And I think there could be two factors in that. In that 5-loss streak, he did lose to all 3 Yokozuna, but there were a couple of Maegashira mixed in there as well. And if he had knocked out those 2 Maegashira, we could be talking about Ozeki Mitaka Yumi here. So I wonder also, could it be the nerves and the pressure of becoming an Ozeki that caused him to lose those extra matches he shouldn't lose?
That could be the case, and I think there's really only one inexcusable loss of those 6, and that's Ikioi. He was one of Ikioi's only 3 losses in the entire Basho. Or, sorry, one of Ikioi's only 3 wins. But yeah, you said 3 Yokozuna. He lost to Goeido, and he lost to Kaisei, who ended up 8-7, but, you know, that's not inexcusable.
Kaisei has his number.
Oh yeah, they're 1-5.
Mitaka Yumi is 1-5 against Kaisei.
Yikes! That is a strange lopsided relationship right there.
I love records like that. There's like one Rikshi that just has someone's number.
Yeah,
but I want to disagree with you on the thing where he lost to like a handful of Maegashira last ones that he arguably shouldn't have lost to because he's Sekiwaki on the Ozeki run. Mm-hmm. And I think if he's still dropping those matches, he shouldn't. And I think that's kind of the big telling for me that he's not ready for Ozeki yet.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to kind of plug that hole. You have to be able to win the matches you're supposed to, and then win the matches against Ozeki that you're technically not supposed to.
Yeah, and like Jake said, like there's 5 kind of excusable losses that it's like, oh, that's not surprising. Well, if there's 5 losses on the table where you're not surprised by, you don't really deserve to be an Ozeki.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you are at that Ozeki level, those 5 losses should have been coin flips, you know, give or take. But like all of them coming out against you means that they're not to the level of like a 50-50 good competitive kind of thing.
Real quick thing about coin flips that I find fascinating. The Kansas City Chiefs have won all 9 coin flips in the NFL so far this year.
That is way more interesting than what we're talking about right now. We need to change our entire podcast scope.
That's literally everything, so we can move right back to sumo. I just find that fascinating.
I'm glad that we explored the depths of that topic as much as we needed to. So what do we got next?
Up next, we can go down to Juryo and talk about some of the storylines going down there. We got a couple of new guys to Juryo. We've got Goku Shindo and Tomokaze. Goku Shindo coming off the Makushita Yusho. He's 22 years old, and so we'll see how he does. Tomokaze has only been in pro sumo for a little over a year. He started from the absolute bottom, so he wasn't one of those university guys that got to start at Makushita. He's only 23 years old himself, so we got a couple of young upstarts that are quickly rising through the ranks.
Got some real deep analysis for you here, but Goku Shindo and Tomokaze, those are some solid Shikonas. Those are some solid ring names. I like those.
Anytime you have Goku in your name, it's just going to be
that's definitely
far above.
That's definitely part of the bias here for sure. Yeah. But those are some good ones. I like.
And Tomokaze, something breeze, because as we all know, Kaze is wind. Or breeze.
There you go.
Like Yoshikaze.
There's no way that we can ever figure it out, though.
No.
But I think it's kind of cool that Yago, we were looking at him as a potential guy who could have moved up to the top division. It was him and Chiyomaru could have switched places potentially.
Yep.
But he's a guy that we haven't followed like too in depth. But I remember when we were first starting this podcast, he was kind of the hot ticket. He came in, he got the Makushita starting point because of his college experience. So he basically rocketed straight to Juryo from there and has been slowly working his way up. Now he's finally in the top slot of Juryo, and I think he's a guy that could potentially be somebody to watch in the near future.
Definitely. We also do have somebody else who is not making their Juryo debut, but is coming up from Juryo from Makushita, and that is Toyo Noshima. He is 35, and he used to be a Sekiwake, so climbing his way back up the ranks.
Yeah, he started his career kind of the same time as I think Hakuho, like around 2002 or so.
Okay.
And he kind of peaked around 2007. So,
Or maybe 2010 when he got a Jun Yusho in the top division.
oh wow,
Cool.
14-1 Jun Yusho.
Holy crap. Who beat him?
Freaking Hakuho, probably.
Oh, he lost in a playoff to Hakuho in... Yeah, so this is November of 2010. He lost to Kyoku Tenho on day 3 and won every single other match, including a Megashira Kisanosato. That's kind of funny. But then a playoff loss to Hakuho.
8 years ago. So
I see an
8 years ago.
I see an M14 Goedo there.
Yeah, Goedo. Oh, man.
that's really
Blast from the past.
Maru, holy cow.
and Okinoumi. Okinoumi's been around for that long.
Apparently. Okay.
Tamawashi's. I love going through like the
Yeah.
old like
Right?
10,
That's awesome.
8-year-old things to see where everybody stacks up.
Clearly, this is what we need to study more. But
Yes.
it looks like in 2016 he was up to Sekiwake, and then he had an injury that forced him all the way back down to Makushita, and he's been working his way up since late 2016.
All right. But I think we kind of buried the lead when talking about Jurio.
Yeah, what were we
because-
talking about?
Well, we're talking
Something
about
breeze, wind.
we're talking about Jurio, which means we're talking Enho. Enho 9-6 record. Will Enho get?
Hold on,
no.
hold on. We got to let Flair get a sound effect going.
Wait for it.
There it is. It's Enho time, baby. Enho climbing
you.
up the.
We got to be
Jurio
quicker on the
ranks.
trigger than that.
I know.
Shame.
Will we see Enho get another Kachikoshi, the little adorable Rikshi who could?
Yes. Yes, and more. Yes.
I hope so.
Flair, have confidence, man.
Yeah, this is all like believing in with my heart, and yes, I really, really want it to happen.
Good man.
Enho up to Jurio 10, his highest career rank. Somebody else that I've kind of been watching, Wakataka Kage. He has
You've been
You
watching
just like
him?
saying his name.
Yeah.
Not you.
You like people for why you like people. I don't see why you got to shame me.
We did just say Tomokaze's name is like solid.
So Wakataka Kage has never had a losing record in Jurio, slowly making his way up the ranks. One to watch, he is at Jurio 6.
Very cool.
Jake fact-checking me, and I was correct.
Oh, good call. I was totally gonna boom you there. No, he's got an 8-7, a 9-6, and another 8-7. He's also pretty young. He's only 23.
Yeah. All right. So if we don't have any other Makushita news, where's Amanishiki at?
He's still there.
Amanishiki
Yeah.
is Jurio 2. Yeah, he had a 7 and 8 from Jurio 1, so he's just kind of hovering for now.
All right. And our last thing, we're talking Jurio. Flair, we're not talking Arawashi in the Jurio segment.
Oh yeah, we're not because he's in Makushita.
Try again.
Get your vocab straight.
I'm sorry, I got so excited.
We just mentioned at the top of
he's
this that we were going to
excitable,
try and get
folks.
our vocab straight.
Yeah, I'm happy he's back up. I hopefully shows some really good throwing and he does some really good sumo. I'll be happy if that happens.
Lots of jumping, lots of henkas. I mean, we lost Ishiura. We got to have somebody keep that henka count up.
Hey,
in the-
Enho is
Exactly.
on the rise. It's okay, Jake. Another little guy is coming.
All right. So speaking of Makushita, as Flaric mentioned, we do have one of our boys in Makushita. We have two of our boys in Makushita. Jake, where are they at?
the boys we are talking
I
about
was about to say,
are,
who are
Musashi
they?
Kuni and Hoshoryu.
so Musashi Kuni, the elder of the two Americans in sumo, he's at Makushita 53. He's kind of hovering in the middle of Makushita, kind of towards the lower end. He ended up with a 3-4 last time, so he didn't get too bad of a hit. And the other American, Waka Ichiro, is back down to Jonidan, unfortunately. No! He had a 2-5. He's having some trouble making the Sandanme division stick. So Sandanme is the third division. Waka Ichiro, he's back down to Jonidan, the second division. From
Quick
the bottom.
correction. Makushita 53 is not in the middle. That's pretty close to the bottom, as there's 60 Makushita spots.
Oh, is Sandanme the huge one?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, my bad. Anyways, though, the other guy that Ryan mentioned that is in Makushita, the one that has 60 spots, that I already totally knew.
Makushita 49.
Yep, that's where he is. Hoshoryu is the nephew of all-time great Yokozuna Asashoryu, and we also have Naya, the grandson of the also all-time great Yokozuna Taiho. Naya had a rough go of it in September. He ended up with a 3-4, so he is out of the Makushita division. he's down into the Sandanme division.
Yeah, and I'm still very upset that they matched up Hoshoryu and Naya, both with 3-3 records on the last day of Makushita, to force one down.
I'm not.
I wanted them both to be in Makushita.
I agree with you there, but I love them facing each other as many times.
Oh, I mean,
as
it's
possible.
totally freaking awesome. And in the movie that is eventually made about their rivalry, that will totally be like a pivot, like the pivotal moment.
And because we've talked so much about them, that they're going to pull a lot of clips from this podcast.
Oh, yeah,
Indeed.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, man, who should play us?
Us, obviously.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I
Ura's
could be
also
like
in
a Zac
Sandanme.
Efron guy, right?
No.
Yeah, like I mean, he's not quite as attractive as me, but I feel like he could totally capture my essence.
There you go.
So what were we supposed to be talking about?
Ura, Sandanme 33.
There you go.
He's jumping up the Sandanme ranks. He had a 6-1 record. And we also have Tera no Fuji at Sandanme 27. I don't know if he's participating, but he still hasn't retired. So we've got Tera no Fuji. Hopefully he can get back into it and fight back up. Probably not ever to his Ozeki rank that he was before, but hopefully he can get back to Makuuchi.
He is continuing to break his own record for the furthest down a former Ozeki has ever fallen.
Yep.
I
That's
think the
not
previous
a good record.
Oh no, I know that, but like I think the previous record was like the top of Makushita or something like that, right?
Nobody has participated below Juryo.
Okay, after being an Ozeki.
Yes.
I think they retired before that point.
Gotcha.
I will say it's not a good record, but it's actually setting up the stage for the best record of where he gets back up to Makuuchi and Ozeki rank once he figures out all the like 10 health problems that he has.
Yes.
He has diabetes. He had bad knees.
Yeah,
all sorts of junk. Just everything falling apart for the guy.
Piano fell on him. Mm-hmm. Followed by an anvil, followed by an elephant.
Struck by lightning.
The milkman ran off with his wife.
Yeah, just a whole lot of things going wrong. But I think that's going to wrap up our talk about the lower divisions, and so we will head on over to our news desk and Fleric. Oh, I don't know that the news desk gets air horns.
Not Arawashi.
Wrong you are, Ryan. Welcome to the news desk. All right, we have a couple news items for you today.
Notice his voice.
Oh, he's been prepped for this.
Yeah,
Oh,
he is ready for the news anchor role.
Right you are, Ryan. So we have one news item is in kind of the vein of Harumagazi, of where Harumafuji was retiring. Once after he retired, we found out that Takanoiwa actually filed a lawsuit against Harumafuji for money, kind of saying like, hey, I was forced to sell like 3 or 4 bashos. That's a lot of money and potential kimboshis I could have gotten. Why don't you give me a lot of money kind of thing.
Sounds fair.
Yeah. But it sounds like he was getting a lot of pressure from people in Mongolia, kind of saying, hey, why are you trying to be petty with some money? So he ended up dropping the lawsuit. And then we got some word that Harumafuji kind of contacted him, and he's going to give him some kind of lump sum. They're going to settle kind of outside of court.
Yeah, I hope that we get some more news from that one soon, because that's like the final bit of closure that we need on that whole situation.
The coffin nail.
Yeah, I was about to say, I hope that's the last news we hear from it, because it's been a year that we've been reporting on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it's hopefully pretty settled for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, Takanohana is now out of sumo. Takanoiwa is dropping the settlement. Harumafuji is retired. It seems like we can finally move on. We'll probably find a reason.
That was our first big story, though.
Yeah, we'll probably find a reason to bring it up every single episode.
Oh, there's actually, if you want to hear more about that, we do have 2 bonus episodes that cover the topic quite a bit. I think it was bonus episode maybe 5 or so, something like that. Like back in December, maybe January, we broke down what we knew about the scandal at the time. And then we also talked about Harumafuji's entire career last month in our most recent bonus episode.
Some of us talked about his entire career.
Not that Ryan's salty about that at all.
Yeah. What else we got at the news desk?
Right you are, Jake. The next
You can't use that transition every time. Wrong you are, Jake? Damn it.
Well, right you are, Jake.
Oh, you got me.
Anyways, next item we have
played.
is about violence in sumo. There is one.
Sumo is all about violence.
Yeah, it's a combat sport. Why is this a story, Flair?
Well,
Let me tell you.
the violence on the dohyo is A-okay, but outside the dohyo, especially in bars, are not so much. So they when the whole thing went down once again with Harumafuji and Takanoiwa, they decided to do kind of they formed a committee task force to go out and kind of investigate if violence is actually happening in like with current sumo wrestlers. And they end up finding out 5% of sumo wrestlers were subject to violence last year. So out of like 900, that's roughly 45 sumotori. And so that's apparently back in 1978. It used to be 37 when they last checked. So it's definitely down, but it's still a number that's higher. It's still more than zero, which is
37. What?
37%.
1978, it was 37% of sumotori.
Okay, there we go.
So that was like the last formal inquiry into the issue?
Yeah, I believe it was around, I don't know too much of the details, but yeah, they apparently had statistics on that year. So they must have had another inquiry. If something
Hopefully
happened.
they had more because they had a guy get like hazed to death.
In 2007-ish, yeah.
That's a good
Yeah,
point. I wonder
yeah.
why we don't have a whole lot of... I don't know. What else did they put out, though?
Yeah, so they kind of had some recommendations. Hakaku, the chairman of the Sumo Association, came out with like 7 points towards the end of what he wanted to do. He said, number one, no violence in sumo will be tolerated even if it's part of the guidance process, which is kind of where a lot of the violence happens, like older Richie kind of saying, hey, let me toughen you up and kind of teach you the way of how stuff is supposed to go. They're just saying, like, that's not good. Let's just get rid of that entirely. It won't be tolerated at all. Number two said the oyakatas, which are kind of the teachers of a lot of the sumotori, will take an initiative to eradicate all violence in the Heya, kind of putting more onus on them to actually take initiative to put the stop on that. Number three, the Sumo Association will conduct intensive training for all association members to heighten their awareness, more lectures and stuff. Number four, Sumo Association clarifies the definition of violence and obligation to report whenever it occurs, and the punishments in the event which negligence are, the procedure of dealing with a suspect. Number five, when violence occurs, public relations be notified promptly. Number six, top-level relationships and guidance between seniors and juniors belonging to different heias will not be allowed. Kind of the idea is what happened with Takanori and Harumifuji was they're in different heias, but Harumifuji was trying to give guidance to someone in a different heia.
And that's because they were both Mongolian, right? The Mongolians hung out, and they're trying to move away from that grouping of people that are from unrelated stables?
Yes, I think they just don't like that in general. The idea is Oyakata has the way of teaching stuff. They're kind of the one bringing the structure to the lives, and I think I agree with you. They don't really like people hanging out and like as Mongolians outside of it. And when you have other people come in and like start to try to deal with some discipline where they don't necessarily know them as well, that's when kind of some bad stuff happens, is what they're going towards, I think.
I got you. That makes sense. I mean, it might be, if they want the Oyakatas, the coaches, to be the ones who are more in charge, it would be to their benefit to avoid situations where there isn't one coach that they all report to or something. I don't know. I can kind of see the logic there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see it a little bit. I definitely don't like the idea behind of just, it kind of seems to be anti kind of talking and making friends of people in different heias and such. So
Sure.
That's the kind of big thing I don't like. But that's what they're kind of going with. Number 7, the last one, was all measures to prevent recurring of violence will be taken in full cooperation in open manner with external experts. So it sounds like they're going to try their best not to just keep everything internal. They're going to try to get some external stuff, some help outside to kind of help out with that.
That I like that step too, because a big part of why the scandal flared up so bad was Takanohana was the coach of the wrestler who was injured in that previous scandal, was so adamant that he needed to get the police involved and wouldn't let them handle it internally. I think on the surface because he didn't want to risk it being covered up or something. But we don't really know everybody's real motives, and that part was kind of called into question, right?
Yeah, that was kind of called into question because of how adamant he was kind of making. He was kind of making like a big fuss about everything.
Right, and it seems like these steps make pretty good sense to me about what things that they could do to actually prevent it. But yeah, the only one that seemed kind of weird to me was taking that step to firmly say that they're against extracurricular Heya gatherings, or that was a terrible way to phrase that. You know what I meant? People getting together in groups of friends from different Heyas.
Yeah, I entirely agree. I think they're trying to. I like the whole kind of defining what is violence and like what the punishments are going to be. So as
long as they define it correctly and not to what they want it to be.
Exactly. One will hope to. I think for the most part they have the best interest in heart because this has just been such like a black eye for the Sumo Association. But I think these are good steps going forward for the most part overall.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it progresses, but I hope that it stays in the news, because these are also a good set of steps to make it seem like you're doing something and just kind of riding it out.
Yeah, I think it entirely depends how they act upon this stuff. But I kind of agree with you. As long as stuff stays public, which sounds like they're trying to do, I think good stuff is going to happen.
All right, and that is all that we have from the news desk. Thank you, Flerick. We're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll go through our predictions, fun facts, and all the fun stuff.
Hello, it's former Yokozuna turned bank mogul Asashoryu. Are you sick of banks not loaning you money, even though you know you deserve it? Skinny-armed bankers judging you by the gains in your bank account instead of your gains in the gym? Come on down to the Bank of Asashoryu and wrestle our gauntlet of tellers to earn the loan you deserve today.
The Bank of Asashoryu told me I'd never afford that house, but then I put them in a Kodanage and they told me my mortgage was approved. Thanks, Bank of Asashoryu.
They said I was crazy to want to open a Rikishi tattoo parlor, but after performing a Yorita Oshi, the money was mine.
I just asked to use the restroom, but they kept Hataki Komi-ing me over and over again instead. These guys are crazy. Do not bank with them.
The Bank of Asashoryu. Wrestle for your rate today.
Disclaimer, tales may include Hakuho, Kakuryu, Takayasu, Tochinoshin, Hakuho's Mama, Nojo.
All right, welcome back. It is time for the Grand Sumo Breakdown Prediction Series, and just to remind everybody of the results of last time, I won! And it was fun for everybody involved, except for Mac and Jake. They both lost. They're losers.
Don't I have fun every time, though? Do I really lose?
It's still satisfying to beat you, even if you're trying to make it not like that.
That's the annoying thing about Mac. He takes losing so very well that you just can't rub it in.
We're trying.
I'm certainly trying. But that leaves us with a little bit of a predicament, because the loser...
A prediction predicament?
A prediction predicament.
Oh.
The loser chooses first. We had two losers last time. We had Mac. We had a Jake. And so, in order to figure out who picks first...
Oh, please be ancient Roman trivia.
I am thinking of a Rikishi on the Makuuchi Bansuke.
Dang.
Whoever is closest in rank to guessing what Rikishi I'm thinking of will pick first. All right, Mac.
Hokuto Fuji.
All right, Mac went with Hokuto Fuji. Jake.
He got it right on, so what am I supposed to do?
Just choose another Rikishi.
I'm going to choose Ryuden.
All right, Ryuden is closer to Oki no Umi
Ah, damn it!
than Hokuto Fuji. That's too obvious, Mac.
Well, duh, it's you. You're obvious.
To be fair, I probably would have picked him too.
Thank you.
All right, so Jake, you get the first pick for your Yusho winner, and then we'll follow up with Mac.
I do have to say, though, your Dr. Seuss poem was magical.
I think we both did pretty well there. It was a lot of fun.
I think I was a little hammy in my delivery. But
A little?
You think?
Everybody who
Yeah.
doesn't remember, just go back and listen to Mac sob for 5 straight minutes as he's reading his Dr. Seuss poem.
hey, I got hugs at the end. I was pleased.
I'm going to go with Kakuryu.
Oh, yeah, predictions.
So that means Mac is next?
For Yusho, I'm going Kiseno Sato.
All right. I'm going to go Takayasu.
All right, perfect. I'm going with Tochinoshin.
This is funny because I ranked like my first 1 through 4 for Yusho.
Yeah.
Exactly how it played out was my ranking.
All right, and I get first pick for Jun Yusho, and I will go with Takayasu.
Ooh. I am going to go with Kakuryu.
I'm going with Goeido.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's not Aki. Do you know that?
I do know it's Aki.
You know that he's
Not
had,
Aki. I know it's not Aki.
He's had 2... I haven't ragged nearly enough on Goeido so far. He's had...
Tochinoshin, so we can be done with this game.
okay, yeah. But whatever.
Yeah,
Goeido
whatever.
has had 2 straight double-digit winning records, which I don't think he's ever done as an Ozeki. You know the fall is coming. You know he can't keep this up.
Let it fall in January.
If I
Let
had
it fall in
balls,
January.
if I had balls, I would choose him to be my Make Koshi pick. I do not. I do not. But I'm calling a 7 and 8 for Goeido.
We'll see. We'll see.
Big
All
if true.
right.
Well, I mean, you get to pick a guy to do Makikoshi, so
We'll see if I grow balls by that time.
okay, that's probably
But-
about 3 minutes away. So
Jake,
yeah.
choose your choice for a special prize.
I am going to choose Kaisei for this.
Ooh.
Ryuden.
I'm going to go with Takakeisho.
You guys were a lot more prepared than I was.
Yeah, you guys are sure saying those faster than I can type them. Who did Mac say?
Ryuden.
I'm going to go... I want to go with Onosho, but he's been a little... He's been iffy the past few Bashos. Even when he was down at Maegashira 13, he didn't do good enough. I'm going to go with Yutakayama. Last time he was down around these ranks, he pulled out... I think he had Jun Yusho. He had at least 11 wins and did really well.
He had a really good Basho.
So
then he had a really bad Basho.
Yeah, but he's at Maegashira 10. So it's good Basho Yutakayama.
That is true. The
Such a weird
stats.
pattern. When he faces guys that aren't as good, he does better.
I have first pick for Kinboshi. Do I even need to say it?
No.
Well, yeah.
No, he doesn't.
Hokuto Fuji, and I'll go with Kisei. Hokuto Fuji will beat Kisei.
All right, we got Fleric next.
All right, I'm going to go with Ryuden, and I haven't thought about who he's going to beat, but I'll go with Kisei as well.
I'm going to say Tamawashi and Kakuryu.
Oh, that's right, because Tamawashi is back in Megashira. I'm going to say... Oh, let's have fun with this one. I'm going to say Tochi Ozan gets some revenge on Hakuho as the longest shot pick out of everything that we've done so far.
I will say this was really hard because I think all of these guys are going to lose a bunch.
Yeah, I think Tamawashi was a pretty good pick. I like that one, but I don't know. I don't think there's going to be too many of these.
Nobody's got any love for Miyogiryu or Nishikigi?
They're a little high.
Maybe we'll hear those names during the Makekoshi segment.
God, I'm so worried for Nishikigi. I don't have anything against him. I kind of like the guy, but God, he's going to get messed up, isn't he? In Megashira 3. So for my pick, Kachikoshi, I'm picking a guy who gets Kachikoshi from the bottom half of the Megashira rankings. And dang it.
Do it.
I was going to go Asano-yama, but I forgot he's in the top half.
Wait.
He's Megashira 5, Mac.
No. He hasn't said who he's picking yet. I don't want him to pick who I think he's going to pick.
I really want to, though.
Don't do it.
I really want to, though.
I want him.
No, I'll go Yutakayama.
Oh my God.
Go with my spirit animal, Chiyomaru.
Ooh.
I believe in you.
I was thinking it, but
I knew you were thinking
I don't have
it.
the balls. Let's see if
good.
Ryan has the balls for the Goedo pick later.
No, it's Fleric's
No,
turn.
later. I know we're not there yet.
Yeah. I think by rules it's supposed to be Megashira, not Nozeki and Sanyaku. But we can totally open that up. I don't care. I guess for someone who is below Megashira 8 and he's going to get a winning record.
Rep your boy, Fleric.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Oh, no show.
Dang it! I knew you were picking him, so I tried to get you to go with Arawashi.
That's a nice taunt, but no.
Oh, yeah. Fleric has a irrational, lifelong love of Arawashi.
I do, but I'm past the point where thinking he's going to do well up in Basho.
Oh, okay. As long as we've moved on.
Yeah. He's going to have moments of flashiness where he does like an awesome throw, but then his knees give out and just lose every other match.
Was that enough time to kill for you to completely rethink your picks, Ryan?
Yes, it was.
Okay, good.
Chiyo no Kuni.
All right.
I also had
Not
him on my list.
All right, now we're at the Makikoshi. Ryan, you going to pull through for us?
The anguish on his face.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
He doesn't want to do it.
Goedo.
Yeah! I have balls! That's my boy. You finally grown up. You're finally a man.
Hey, I've won 2 prediction series. I think that
whatever.
makes me a man.
All right, Fleric.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go with Tamawashi.
I will actually say Myogiru.
And Jake gets Nishikigi to fall into his lap.
You're goddamn right I do. That sucks. It's gonna be hard to watch him go 3-12.
Come on, Goedo. Be the man I know you are.
Okay, so again, loser draws the punishment because did I win the competition and got to go first? Is that how that goes?
You get to choose who picks out of the bolo punishments. Or maybe you and Matt can both reach in there, your hands meet, sparks fly, you both grab the same punishment.
Our eyes meet at the same moment.
Yes. Somebody just pick.
Yeah, Mac, just grab one.
Hello, old friend. How are you today?
If you're new to the podcast, Mac has lost like
4.
half of all of them that we've ever
4
done.
of 7.
Indeed.
4 of 7.
Loser has to write if I can read. Loser has to write a 3+ sumo pun knock-knock joke.
So 3+ sumo pun knock-knock joke. So loser has to write at least 3 knock-knock jokes. I'm going to say far more than that. Knock-knock jokes you can get out real quick. I think you need to have at least 10 prepared for the winner to just have you knock one out.
Only 10? Why not 25?
Boom.
Let's make it 50.
Who wants an entire review episode of exclusively knock-knock jokes?
We apologize ahead of time to all future listeners if you are subject to the 50 knock-knock jokes.
50 grand knock-knock joke breakdown podcast, future listeners.
All right. So those were our predictions. If you have your own predictions, send it to us on Twitter. We'll send out a tweet to remind you. And whoever gives us the best bold predictions that actually come true, we'll send you a shout-out on the review episode.
Do you have balls like Ryan?
That's right. Goedo, Makekoshi, calling it.
Oh, man. We had some cool ballsy picks last time.
We did.
Oh, well.
But now we're going to go over to Jake with our fun fact.
Yes, I only have one fun fact this time because it was a pretty cool one. We mentioned it very briefly in our Hamafuji episode, our bonus episode that came out last month. There was a character that I thought was too interesting for us to pass up. So we're going to do a quick biography of Wakanoho.
Wakano who?
Wakanoho.
Wakanocho?
I'm not even going to try.
Okay, so Wakanoho, he was born Soslan Alexandrovich Gagloev.
That
Are you
does
positive?
Not
That
sound...
I felt like that was a pretty solid run.
Okay.
He was born in Russia. Well, I guess technically Soviet Union at that point. But he was recruited to sumo wrestling by fellow Russian Roho. Roho was another sumotori, fairly successful. He was around for a while. So Soslan Gagloev, he followed his friend Roho over there and checked out what the sumo world was like. He stayed at Roho's stable for a little while just to learn the basics. Unofficially, he wasn't a wrestler yet. He was just kind of like hanging out to learn the culture, the language, etc. And when he was doing that, it was actually at the stable that Taiho, the great Yokozuna of the 60s, was still running before he retired later that same year, actually.
Coincidence?
Coincidence? Yes. Yes,
Okay.
it was. But Wakanoho made his professional debut in March 2005, and within 3 years, within 2 years, he was a Sekitori. He was all the way up to the Juryo second highest division. He didn't stay there long. He was well on his way towards the top of Megashira when some crazy stuff went down. First, the incident that we actually mentioned in our bonus episode, he got an official reprimand because he got super pissed off at Haruma Fuji, who was going by Ama at the time. He got super pissed off at having a really cool technique done to him by Haruma Fuji. So he busted up a door backstage and got an official reprimand.
Was it the Uchari?
Yes, the Uchari, the cool
that is so cool.
Back to the ropes, you lift the other guy up and you spin him out before you fall backwards. But yeah, so he was doing really well. He made it all the way up to Megashira 1, had a 4-11, and then in between there, he got caught with the weed. And he was the first wrestler to be officially immediately dismissed because it was enough weed for the police to be involved. So the
Is
sumo...
that any amount of weed? I don't know Japan's laws, I guess.
Well,
but-
I mean-
They are fairly anti-drug, so
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think it's any amount.
Regardless, the police were involved enough that they immediately just said you're fired, as opposed to we recommend that you quit.
Disciplinary action was swift in this case.
Rather, yeah. So they found some drugs on him. They found some drugs in the stable. So yeah, he was kicked out, and there was that wasn't quite the end of it though, because there was they had to figure out what are we going to do with him? Do we pay him as if he had retired on his own? There was all sorts of things, and he was speaking to the press at the same time, and everybody was trying to interview him. But he kind of fades away after his lawsuit fails for unfair dismissal. Also, this is kind of funny. I found this on Wikipedia. In an odd twist, Wakanoho had his Kesho Mawashi, the ceremonial apron they wear when they do the ring entrance series. It was sponsored by the Japanese Drug Abuse Prevention Center.
Okay.
Oops. Yeah, that was a boo-boo. But yeah, so like I said, though, the lawsuit didn't go anywhere. Eventually, he did get some severance pay. He did the hair cutting ceremony, but he did it in a hotel because he was not in the good graces of the association. Did it in a hotel, and no other rikishi or coaches attended. I imagine they probably wouldn't want to do that.
So was it just him sitting in a chair in the middle of his hotel room, holding up his own hair, cutting his own
Hello,
hair.
darkness,
Like the-
my old friend.
Yeah, like the hotel staff. Now, I'm sure it was like people that he knew that weren't officially involved in sumo or something like that. But after that, he did return to Russia because he was no longer working, so you don't get a work visa for that. But he was involved in the match-fixing scandals of 2008 and 2011. He was both years when there was match-fixing talk going on. He was one of the guys who was saying that, yes, it was going on. And he also suggested that the weed that he was smoking was being smoked with Tochinoshin.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, contradicting his earlier statements. But that obviously didn't go anywhere, and now we have an Ozeki Tochinoshin.
A very mellow Ozeki.
Yeah.
Coincidence?
He does seem pretty chill, and he likes those Doritos.
Who doesn't like Doritos?
Anyways, though, he made allegations, and then even weirder, he later said that he made those allegations because the magazine that he was being interviewed by told him to make those allegations. And
The media made me do it.
And paid him to do it.
Oh, God.
But there is not proof of that, and the magazine obviously said, no, that's BS. But, so he was around in one of the major figures in the match-fixing scandal. I believe we also have a bonus episode on that from months ago, one of the very first ones that we did. But yeah, since sumo, he didn't stop being interesting then. He also came to America to play American football and was actually in an NAIA school. That's like second division below like NCAA. Is that right, Ryan?
That's like almost the bottom.
Is it almost? Okay. Yeah. Worse than that? Yeah. But he did get a scholarship at University of South Florida as a walk-on. This is in 2012.
South Florida is top division.
Okay. So, I see. He was involved in a couple places, a couple different colleges because he didn't really stick around to any of the places. They didn't really want to keep him. But he did get some scholarships here and there, but that was pretty much a wash. Didn't really go anywhere in 2012 or so. But he's kind of dropped off the map since then. He does occasionally participate in like world sumo events like the U.S. Sumo Open. He participated in 2014, but lost to the ever-popular Biamba. So kind of an interesting guy for somebody who never really ended up going anywhere. He was only in sumo for 3 years and a little extra. He made it up to Megashira 1, but, that's why weed is so dangerous. It has to be illegal because it ruins sumo careers.
Of the Rikishi that I've looked up, I think that's the only one that I've ever seen dismissed. Because you always have the little caption at the bottom after all their records. It says dismissed, then you think, whatever. This is the first case I've actually seen with dismissed in all big letters at the bottom of his record.
Oh,
Him
yeah.
and a few others around 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, it said he was the first officially dismissed wrestler, but that was in 2008, so before the 2011 scandal popped up.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people are kicked out of sumo, but they're just strongly encouraged to retire.
Yeah. So I mean, like he wasn't given any leniency there to put in his own resignation letter or anything like that.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's all I got for Wakanoho, the most interesting guy to only wrestle for 3 years and not even get to the Sanyaku ranks or anything.
All right, we're going to move on to fantasy. We have a fantasy winner to announce. So the contest for this last Basho was to share with us a Rikishi mantra. This kind of took our Twitter by storm one night as Mac just kept busting them out. So an example would be the mantra of Chiyomaru. Chili cheese and curly fries. Bring Chiyomaru a Yusho prize.
A rather ineffective one. I don't think he won
But
the
the
Yusho.
sumo gods heard my prayer, and he remained in the top ranks.
Yes,
I am
he did.
pleased with this.
That's a good point.
And so our winning submission was by @WataThings. He gave us helicopter in the sky. Please give strength and let me fly. High above the Kachi Mountains, give Kotoyuki insurance money fountains. So thank you, Wata. We will be doing our draft later in the week, and we will have updates for everybody on the midway and review episodes.
I don't know if we should keep him if he likes Kotoyuki.
He is
No,
down
that
at a lower
means-
level now.
That means like he might have bad taste and take Rikishi that are bad.
Maybe he'll take
So maybe we can actually beat this guest.
he'll take Kotoyuki first
Well,
overall.
I'm not afraid. I've been doing quite well in
Mac
fantasy.
has been As bad as Mac is in the prediction series, he's pretty good at fantasy sumo.
We need to put punishments for the fantasy, and then he'll start losing.
And then Mac will start throwing it.
No. Let's talk about this.
He secretly is like really knowledgeable about sumo.
No,
and
hey, wait,
just
whoa,
great
whoa.
predictions.
All right, and I don't believe we have an ELO update. I think Jake said he's revamping everything for the 5th time in the history of this podcast.
Oh, at a minimum. No, it's just a everlasting project for me to continuously improve it, but I didn't finish it in time for the intro episode, but we'll have all new and all improved numbers that are, still pretty much in the same range, but
this time with Chio no Kuni leading somehow.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I'll go back and check the
I
numbers
really
on
don't
that
think
one.
so.
All right. Well, to wrap this episode up, as always, what is everybody most excited for in this basho?
I'll have to say whether or not Kyushu Sato is going to double digit Kachikoshi again or not.
All right.
Tochinoshin establishing his dominance.
I think just in general, the Sanyaku is pretty high caliber here. Mitakeumi, Ichinojo, Takakeisho, and Kaisei. It's all 4 guys that I kind of like, and I think I'm really excited, especially for Mitakeumi potentially on an Ozeki run.
Yeah, on this one where we don't really have too many significant storylines coming in, I'm just excited to see my 2 favorite guys at the top of the ranks. Excited to see Tochinoshin do well. I think he is my favorite to win the Yusho, and I want to see how Hokuto Fuji does back at the upper ranks of the Maegashira. He was able to stay strong up there for 2-3 basho earlier this year, late last year, so hopefully he can do it again this year and hopefully bust through to Sanyaku for the first time in his career. But
probably not, because the rest of the podcast hates him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that will wrap up our Kyushu preview episode. Once again, the basho will start this upcoming Sunday, which is the 11th. And so if you enjoyed this podcast, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast or your favorite podcast listening service.
You can follow us on social media at Twitter and Facebook, Grand Sumo Breakdown.
You can check out our blog, grandsumobreakdown.wordpress.com.
If you have any questions, comments, or corrections, drop us a line at grandsumobreakdown@gmail.com or give us a call at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO.
All right, that'll wrap things up. We will see you for our midway episode. Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Until next time,
throw your salt high
and keep moving forward.